Stand and for the invocation and lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
Let us pray. Gracious God, we thank you for this day and for the opportunity to serve our community. Grant us wisdom, clarity, and compassion as we deliberate and make decisions. May our actions reflect fairness, respect, and a commitment to the common good. Guide us to lead with integrity and to work together in unity for the well-being of all. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Our first order of business is the approval of the minutes of September 4th.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion is approved. Treasurer's report, please. Morning.
Following bills were reported to the treasurer's office to be paid. Accounts payable had a total of $844,810.24. Payroll for the period was $377,498.13. 911 account had 11 checks, 5 EFTs totaling $15,720.92. LEPC account had 2 checks totaling $1,095.25. CDBG account had 8 checks totaling $601,334.41. Finally, Act 152 account had 1 check for $15,321.60.
There a motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Bills are paid and we can continue, Diane.
Treasurer's report for the period beginning 9/3 and ending 9/16/2025. General account had a starting balance of $743,931.23. Total debits for $1,030,362.19, giving us an ending balance of $551,985.05. Finally, capital reserve account rounded out the period with $12,486,058.06.
Okay, any questions for Diane? Not, is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Diane, your work is done. Next on the agenda is meetings and events, and the list has been given to the chief clerk for incorporation in minutes. I do want to point out that the commissioners are meeting with all department heads and affiliated agencies in preparation of the 2026 budget. We're very busy in the last couple of weeks and will be probably through October. Okay, Commissioner Weiss.
Kathy also has my list of meetings and events.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Codish.
My list has been turned into the chief clerk as well, and I'd like to welcome Alessa Norris and Drake Goss from MCTV here today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, guys. Public comment. Is there any public comment this morning? And I don't see any, so we'll just continue on to new business. And our first item is the 2024 Mifflin County Plan Commission Annual Report, which will be presented by Jim Letier.
Yes, good morning. This annual report for 2024 is statutorily required under the Pennsylvania Municipality Planning Code, Article 2, Section 207. Both our department and the Planning Commission are involved with numerous responsibilities for meeting our obligations under the municipality's planning code. And the department's mission, which is to provide strategic, coordinated, objective guidance and oversight to the growth, planning, and development activities of Mifflin County. In doing so, it is the goal of the Planning Commission to ensure Mifflin County's future is characterized by a healthy environment, economy, and society achieved through proactive planning, citizen representation, effective communication, and professional planning services provided from our department. The report highlights the vast majority of work both our office and the Planning Commission is involved with on an annual basis.
Okay, and this report, once we accept it, will be available to the public and it will be put on a website.
Correct.
Anything for Jim? Okay, we need a motion, Jim, to accept this.
Sure.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept the 2024 annual report from the Planning Commission.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you, Jim, and you can continue with Marcellus Shale, Act 13.
Commissioners, you allocated $50,000 for this latest round of Marcellus Shale open space recreation grant. We received $35,090 of grant requests, leaving $14,910 for the next round, which will be at your per your decision. We received 3 applications for consideration for this cycle. The first was from Brown Township for a new pavilion at Bender Park. They're requesting $10,089.55. Township is contributing $2,882, which is a total project of $12,971.55. Second application I received is from Derry Township for professional services, including design, engineering, permitting, bidding, and construction phase services for improvements to the Itch Walk Park walking trail around. Request is for $15,000, while the township has recently applied for $250,000 from DCD Greenways Trails and Recreation Program. And the township's financial contribution is approximately $30,000. This was the second one. And the third was from Burnham Borough for improvements to the Veterans Memorial Circle roundabout project. And they weren't so much specific to the bollards. It was for more improvements to the public open space that currently exists there. There's benches and lighting, but they did apply for a DCD multimodal grant for other improvements in the amount of $165,000. They are contributing $5,000. At the last Planning Commission meeting, they recommended approval of all 3 applications, contingent on entering into an agreement within 1 year and having the project complete within a year. I do want to point out in both Derry Township project and the Veterans Memorial Project that they may not be able to meet both obligations because of the length of the project. However, we'll consider the merits of each case as we approach those timelines and have you consider potential extensions if necessary.
Okay. Thank you, Jim. If there's no objection, we're going to take these as a block. But is there any questions on any individual ones for Jim? Okay, then someone move the motion to approve Brown Township, Derry Township, and Vernon Borough's application for Act 13 Marcellus Shale Open Space Grant.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you, Jim. Next on the agenda is a contract renewal with Geisinger Health Plan for the employee group health coverage in the county from the period January 1, 2026 to the end of the year, December 31st, 2026. There's been no changes to the plan. Something that if we approve will be incorporated into the 2026 budget. Sent this prior to the meeting. Is there any questions? Entertain a motion to approve the or sign the contract renewal with GHP.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. They'll be incorporated into the 2026 budget. Next 3 items relate to opioid settlement funds. Item D is something that is reoccurring every year. These are funds that come through the opioid trust that is in charge of allocating these funds to counties, subdivisions, and in some cases, district attorney's offices. This is something that we've done in the past. This is for 2025. And what it says is that we will use the funds in a manner consistent with the abatement uses described in Exhibit E of the settlements. If anybody's interested, you can find this on the Pennsylvania Opioid Settlement website. But again, this is something that we have done in the past, and it's to assure the trust that we will responsibly use the money that will be given to us. Any questions? If not, is there a motion to sign the certification form for 2025?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. The next one after new. It is a participation agreement for funds that are not coming through the Pennsylvania Trust. This is for a settlement with Purdue, and you can stay there at the end, Phil, it's fine. Okay. This is for settlement for the Purdue and the Sackler family. We do not know what that amount's going to be because we don't know how many people, how many counties are going to be participating in this. It was recommended by the Attorney General's office that counties execute this form. That's why it's on our agenda. Do we have a motion or any questions? Not, is there a motion to sign the participation agreement relating to the Purdue Pharma Sackler distribution and settlement?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next one is a participation form for the opioid settlement for secondary manufacturers. This is also recommended that it be signed by the Attorney General's office. All counties, by the way, are going to have this in front of them. Some counties have already executed this. We have not. We have till the end of the month to do this. So this is a settlement that will be settlement that is a combined package for the opioid manufacturers. And there's a number of these. Again, we don't know how much money will be distributed to counties and subdivisions because we don't know who will be participating in this settlement yet. The money is supposed to flow in 2026. So any questions on that?
Guess we should point out that we work with Tri-County Drug and Alcohol, Mike Cannon's office, with these funds, with these various
Yes, thank you.
agreements.
The county does have a memorandum of understanding with the Tri-County Drug and Alcohol Agency. I'm not sure that's their exact legal name, but I think you know what I mean. We distribute the funds to them. They are the single county authority. We do have an advisory committee that we have established. Commissioners sit on that together with some other agencies to discuss and distribute those funds within the county. But and they've been doing a good job, and we have a meeting coming up with them to discuss these new funds that are coming in and where they will be distributed. But again, we don't know what the budget is because we don't know what the funds are going to be yet. Did I take a motion yet on that?
No,
Okay,
I'll make that.
thank you.
No second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now we have Phil Lucas to explain about this third agreement, amendment to the agreement for 911 Regional Next Generation System.
This is a 10-county partnership that extends from Tioga County down to Columbia County and over to Mifflin, where we share 911 services and systems. We set policies, do group purchasing, and coordinate response between our group of counties. Over the last about 8 years, we've admitted 2 counties into the group, and we're now we have now been asked by Potter County to extend that invitation to them into our group, which allows neighboring counties such as Tioga and Lycoming counties to provide additional support to them, which gives us better redundancy and better backup as we work through the process. This allows us to do joint purchasing and do joint grant applications for the participating counties.
Okay, I see it. Potter County desires to participate, and that's what this amendment allows.
It adds them as the 11th county in our group.
Do you know, have the other 9 counties besides us have taken this up yet, or?
Yes, I administratively I missed this process into the last one after. Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Is there any questions for Phil?
Yeah, Phil, this, our from there seems to work out well. with the other counties that we were heading north from here, Snyder, Union, and up through to Tioga. What does Juniata and the ones to our south do?
We're actually in kind of a state of flux with as technology is changing. Juniata and Perry County are a pair of counties that are doing this similar type system. But we've seen as technology, artificial intelligence, broadband, and using hosted systems, we're seeing counties not following the pattern that FEMA has originally forced us into by forming groups of counties to work together. Again, more for group purchasing, contracting, and policies. We're seeing counties now working independently with individual counties or their neighbors. An example I would use is we're currently in the process of setting up an interface with the state police radio system so that you talk directly with troopers in the barracks in the event of an emergency or crisis following Nickel Mine, the shooting at in Pittsburgh, and other recent incidents where we can talk to them more quickly. And what we found is we're partnering with Juniata County, Mifflin, and Huntington County, which are actually 3 totally separate groups. So while we still work as groups to set policies on how we handle calls and we do group purchasing, we're also doing independent actions with individual counties that make more sense and are more efficient for us because, again, how we talk to the state police in Arch Rock is totally different than how they would talk to the state police in Tioga County. And we have different concerns. So we're seeing, and I expect over the next 5 to 7 years, that the groups that FEMA's forced us into for group purchasing may go away, but we'll still utilize those same groups more for policy decisions and procedure decisions so that we can work more closely together and back each other up. So again, I expect Juniata is probably going to move towards our task force group, which is Bedford through Snyder County, away from just doing work with Perry County. And we're split between our task force group and our 911 group only because of purchasing and policy procedures. So a lot of flux, but we found it's very, very effective for setting policy and procedure.
Okay, well, thank you for that explanation. I think the bottom line is this going to cause any problems with our neighbors since we're so closely affiliated with Juniata County? And I don't see it.
We still work very, very closely with Juniata County, and we do coordinate a lot of our communications. And long-term, we're actually looking at expanding our radio communication systems with Huntington County and Juniata County separately from the 911 call taking group that we're in, only because it makes more sense for us. And it doesn't stop us from doing that.
Okay. Anything else for Phil?
Our policies, are they for our bordering counties? Are they the same?
Some are and some are not. The example I'll use is earlier this year, there was a major storm that went from the top to the bottom of Pennsylvania and came across Pennsylvania from Pittsburgh, and it actually ended right about at Mifflin County. And one of the problems that was encountered in that storm was there was such an overwhelming number of 911 telephone calls. And each, I'll call it region, sets their own policies, how they answer calls, how they transfer calls, how they deal with overflow calls. And one of the things we were surprised with was our group, which was on the very edge of this, and another group in northwestern Pennsylvania use similar groups of consultants. We have similar procedures in place. We were less affected by that overwhelming number of telephone calls because of the way we structured our policies and procedures, but also the back-end programming of how those overflow calls were handled. And what we identified was the groups in that Pittsburgh and southwestern part of the state, they worked more as independent counties, even though they were in groups. And for every overflow call that came into one county, that overflow call got dumped into a second county and then automatically got rerouted back to the first county without ever being answered or handled. So in effect, one overflow call became 3 overflow calls during the emergency, which only it just it caused an order of magnitude in those number of calls. And we were pleasantly surprised that when those calls reached our region, we did not have that same crushing effect on our system and our 911 operators. So it helps that, and it's one of the state reviews that are saying they need to review how they program that and those policies. And we're sharing that information because we're always making sure that as an incident occurs, we do an after action review to see what went right, what went wrong, and how we can improve that. So that's one of those important points that while we may be doing things differently, we're making sure we share what we learn from each of those incidents so that we can minimize the downside effects to our public.
Okay, fine, thank you. Anything else, Phil? Then do we have a motion to approve the third amendment to the agreement?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Phil. Motion carried. Next, we have resolution number 7. Carol, you want to explain this for us? Or-
From Cedar Call, new business H, resolution 7, this is, we have Cedar Call, manages master files on behalf of the county that are used with CDBG projects. So some of those are good for several years, some of them need to be updated annually. At a previous meeting, we updated the fair housing agreement for the resolution. This is the resolution to, it says appointing, but it's actually reappointing Lonnie Griffith as the section 504 compliance officer and reestablishing the existing grievance procedure for 504 complaints.
Okay, so this is reappointing. He's already our officer. Okay. Questions for Carol? Now, is there a motion to approve resolution number 7, appointing Lonnie Griffith as the section 504 compliance officer?
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye, and I
Opposed?
second it.
Gotcha. All right, what we'll do now is recess the public meeting. And we need to convene a CDBG public hearing. So we'll recess the public meeting at whatever time. See, and we'll convene the public hearing. So Carol, you're
These from Kathy, but this is what I'm.
okay.
So, this is the second public hearing for the projects that have been selected to include on the application for 2025 CDBG funding. So because it's a separate meeting within the commissioners meeting, I'll pass around an attendance sheet. You can give it that, and then also if you're interested in what we're gonna be talking about.
If you have copies, you could pass those to Jim and
Okay.
Dwayne.
Thank you. So, just a brief recap of the process for, selecting the projects to include on the 2025 application. In the early spring, we began, accepting leaving the county, the municipalities to the county, manages CDBG funds. We advertised that we were accepting proposals for projects to consider. Each of the on behalf of municipalities had their selection process and their first public hearings. And now this is the second public hearing for each of those, and the second public hearing for the selection of projects for the county. So first. Have a couple of things here. All right, so Arma Township, the supervisors selected the second year of funding for the Barefoot Road Reconstruction Project. Brown Township selected a new project. This would be a parking, grading what is now a grass and gravel overflow parking area across the road from the playground at Reedsville Park. The proposal is to upgrade that to an actual parking lot with safety markings and an official pedestrian crossing of the road. Derry Township approved the first year of funding for the second phase of their Yeagertown area road reconstruction project. Granville Township, their first choice of program or project for 2025 was to fund procurement of new fire safety equipment for the Junction Fire Company. To do that, we needed to do a survey of the Junction Fire Company's first due area. That is ongoing. It's taken longer than we anticipated. The reason for doing the survey is CDBG funds are the national objective is to benefit low to moderate income residents. So the survey is going to let us know whether the first due area qualifies. So that survey is ongoing, but we needed to have them choose a project to make our deadline. So they've chosen single family owner occupied housing rehabilitation, which is a project that they have done successfully in the past. We will continue with the survey, and if the survey shows that the Junction Fire Company first due area is LMI, then we have the option of modifying existing budget lines in their fiscal year 23 and 24 contracts to be used for that same purpose. Would be procuring new self-contained breathing apparatus. Lewistown Borough also is they are qualified as an LMI area through census data. They are going to was using their CDBG funding for 25 to complete procurement of new fire safety equipment for the Lewistown Fire. Each of the, on behalf of communities, we did do a couple of meetings where we discussed publicly the benefits of different projects, and those were chosen. This would be the second time or the first time in a public meeting that we would talk about the projects chosen for Mifflin County on OBO. So there are two. The first project is one that wasn't brought up at our first public hearing in the spring, but one that came up afterwards. The Juniata Terrace Water Main River Crossing Project is a next phase, a very important next phase of providing Juniata Terrace Borough and parts of Granville Township with a more reliable, greater flow of potable water, which would also greatly increase their ability for fire suppression activities. So currently, Mifflin County is administering a grant for Juniata Terrace Borough to extend their water main to increase the size of the diameter of the water main. But it doesn't, the current project doesn't address the fact that Juniata Terrace Borough has one pipe that is hanging underneath SR 103 right next to a gas pipe. That's the only supply of water that Juniata Terrace Borough has. It was constructed in the early part of the 20th century. And it's difficult to get to fix. It's also corroded. A 2021 camera inspection of the inside of the pipe showed that in some places the corrosion had restricted the flow to 5 inches, which is just not good. So the river crossing project is actually to do a horizontal boring underneath the Juniata River to connect water mains from Lewistown Borough under the river to the new larger mains that are being put in Juniata Terrace. That's a really big project. The commissioners proposed to apply for competitive funding from CDBG for 2025. As part of that application process, we need to show that we are putting some entitlement funding towards that. So after discussions, the commissioners and the planning department suggested that we put 75% of our 2025 non-OBO CDBG funding towards a beginning section of that water main river crossing. This would not include the horizontal boring under the river, but be project to link the current Lewistown Borough main down to, or extend that down to the edge of the Juniata River. And then the competitive project scope would be to connect that underneath the river to the existing main at Juniata Terrace. So that is a project cost of $167,000. The second project for Mifflin County on behalf of would be to begin the process of making the Mifflin County Youth Park restrooms accessible. The restrooms, the only permanent restrooms at the youth park now are in the northern end of the green building at the park. And because they were built several decades ago, they don't meet the standards for modern accessibility. So this request is for a partial funding of that project, which would be limited to work inside the green building to make sure that people who were in the building could access both the men's and women's restrooms if they were in wheelchairs. So while the Juniata Terrace water main river crossing for this entitlement contract is a complete sort of sub project within the larger river crossing project, the youth park restrooms, this would be first year funding for a project that would complete the restroom accessibility effort. So that was a lot of talking. If anyone has any questions, happy to answer them.
So assuming when we reconvene, we'll consider a motion to submit this application, and once it's submitted, what's the time frame of getting approved?
Yes, excellent question. This is CDBG funding comes from the Department of Housing and Urban Development, a federal agency. it comes through Pennsylvania's Department of Economic and Community Development. We have a deadline to submit the application October 31st. Then during the winter and early spring, we anticipate that will be the review time. DCD will go through all of the information we've provided for all of the projects. There's usually communication back and forth. And then in late spring or early midsummer, we would expect to be approved for these projects. And then there's a process to actually move the funding officially into an account that makes it available. And only at that point would we be able to begin getting the bid documents together. So we are looking at earliest next fall, being able to move on this. But it is all inside work, so that's a benefit. We could potentially work during the winter on that one.
Okay, and anything else for Carol? Okay, if nothing else, then we'll reconvene the public meeting in order to take action on this and another associated motion.
Thank you.
Okay, so the public meeting is reconvened, and consider a motion to review and approve all the projects included in the 2025 CDBG application and approve the project certification as it was just explained to us. Okay, Chair will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. We have resolution number 8, 2025, authorizing submission of the application. We approved the projects. Now we're going to approve the submission of the application to Pennsylvania DCED for funding through the CDBG program. There a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that application will be submitted. One other item then that we need associated with this, we're going to recess again. Hope you're all following me. Recess the public meeting to reconvene the, I guess, the CDBG meeting.
Yes, this is, thank you, so public meeting for the budget modification for fiscal year 2023, that so we're recessing the commissioners' meeting to hold an official public hearing for these activities for CDBG. For convenience and efficiency, we hold them during the meeting of the commissioners, but recessing for a public hearing is part of the requirement. That's why it's a little awkward, but that's why we're doing this. So budget modification, this would be the second budget modification request for fiscal year 2023 CDBG contract. Lewistown Borough, you heard me mention that Lewistown Borough for their 2025 project want to get funding to complete their purchase of new fire safety equipment. That would be the self-contained breathing apparatus. This budget modification for 2023, which is funding that exists, is to abandon the original project, which was street reconstruction of West 4th, West 5th, and North Grand Streets in Lewistown, and use that funding, all of that funding, towards purchasing the first part of the total 35 needed air packs for the Lewistown Fire Department. So, are there any questions about that process or that?
So the $123,715 would be, if approved, added on to the $123,000 whatever we just did, 19,000.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
And then there's, we just received from DCD yesterday afternoon our electronic contract for fiscal year 24. We will be requesting a budget modification for that funding as well, so it will be ultimately, if DCD approves, we will have all of the 2023 budget, all of the 2024 budget, and then up to the cost of 35 air packs using the 25 budget for the air packs for the Lewistown Fire Department. When they did an assessment, they realized that they did an assessment of their equipment, they realized that they were coming up on expiration dates, and so it was urgent for them to modify the budget from street reconstruction to the fire safety equipment.
okay. All right, then if there's nothing else, we'll adjourn the public meeting at time.
9:43.
And we'll reconvene the regular public meeting of the commissioners, and the item is the budget modification for CDBG 2023 to pay for the Lewistown Fire Safety Equipment Phase 1. Someone move the motion.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you for getting us through this, Carol.
Thank you for your presentation.
Okay, next we have Jen Cherry, head for domestic relations. We have an intergovernmental agreement between domestic relations and the sheriff's office. We have two, one for security, one for warrant service. We'll take them one at a time, I guess, Jen. Okay,
Yes,
first one.
so the first one will be the contract between the Benton County Domestic Relations Office and the Sheriff's Office for warrant service. For the contract period with the corporate agreement of October 1st through September 30th of 2030.
Okay, we'll take that one. Is this a continuation? For what we had before?
Yes, so yes, the 5-year period is up at the end of this month, yeah.
Yeah, we flipped the agenda, actually, Jen. The first one was to provide security. The second one.
Oh, sorry. I'm on, okay, so. The
Explain the first one to us. Explain the security.
The security, okay, so we have office security in every one of our conferences. So they just provide.
Okay.
If there's any issues or problems at every conference.
Okay, so we'll take the security first. First, are there any questions, Jen? Okay, we'll take the agreement to provide security.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion carries, and now we'll consider the warrant service for the same period of time. These are 5-year agreements. For the warrant service.
Between the relations office and the sheriff's office. To serve warrants.
Okay, is there any questions? If not, who will move the motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Jen. Anything else?
Well, there's a third one.
Oh,
Jerry.
40.
oh, I
The
see that.
attorney.
You are still up. Okay. This is a cooperative agreement with Jerry Wagner Esquire to provide services to the domestic relations department. Okay. For the same time
Is
period.
that 5-year?
Yes, 5 years, yes.
Okay. Sorry, any questions? Okay, we'll move the motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
An inmate housing agreement with the Center County. Clinton County? Okay.
So this is for us to house inmates at Clinton County in case we need it. Doesn't happen on just very occasionally. It would be either an inmate on inmate separation where if there's 2 co-defendants in a serious criminal charge or possibly an inmate on staff separation, we get somebody in that's very close relative to one of our staff. And it would just be
Okay.
less issues. to
Or for any other reason.
Yes.
you need to move somebody outside our facility. We now have a contractor, we'll have a contract with Clayton County.
And we have contracts with other counties also,
Okay.
very rarely used, but they are just good to have in case we do need them.
So this is an add-on with others?
We have one existing now with Clinton County. It just
Okay.
runs out at the end of the year. This is just renewing it. We have one
Okay.
in Center County.
That's
If
what
we
I
need
thought.
somebody to, if
Okay.
we need to house somebody there. So it's good to have more than one option. Also, the different counties, different rates. So we try to use the one that's more economical.
Okay, Mr. Warden, anything else? There a motion to approve the inmate housing agreement with Clinton County for 25 to 28, so it's a 3-year agreement. Okay, there's been a motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have medical assistance transportation program, and Cindy Sunderland will explain this call ride services to us. It looks like it goes from July 1, 2025 to June 26.
It does, and thank you for allowing all our service again to provide the medical assistant transportation program to Mifflin County. Our allowance this year is going to be at $466,070. That is down from the last year. Last year it was $548,639. We were approved at a trip rate last year at $37 per trip. This year it's going up to $43 per trip. And that is due a lot to the decrease in trips. So less trips, more cost per trip.
Okay, so this is more or less a formula and how you come up with $466,070.
The state sends their formula that we have to fill out and provide information to how much we pay drivers, their hours, and all of that is relevant to the outcome of that.
Okay, so if we had less trips last year, it'll affect it's this year. The projection, if you have less trips,
Less trips would.
okay, even though the price per trip is going up, or the allowance per trip is going $37.43.
Yes.
Understand? Anything for,
Well, I know one of the reasons why trips were down, with Cindy and the Cars Board is, methadone trips. Quite a few, they used to take them to State College. Methadone now it's available in town here. So a lot of those, trips they were taking, they were cut out. So numbers are down as far as trips are concerned. Is there other factors in other areas that have impacted the trips also?
It just seems like there is a decrease in overall trips, our senior centers, our overall medical trips, even our dialysis trips, which is a good thing for those patients, but yeah, it just seems like it's across the board that there is a decrease in trips.
Does the Geisinger Life thing impact that any, do you know?
I think it has,
Because they have vans going around also.
yes.
What's the fee for the customer that's riding?
It could be, we are by mile, so it depends on where you're getting picked up and where you're going to.
Okay,
It could be as little as $14, or as much as $50, depending on the destination that you have. And then, of course, our discounted rate, 65 and older, 18 to 64 with a disability, and of course, medical assistants would ride free if they're going to an eligible medical appointment. But these other lottery and PWD under PennDOT, then they pay 85% of the trip, the client only pays 15%. So that $14 becomes $210
okay, that's what it's getting at.
each way,
Okay.
yes. So a whole lot more affordable for that.
okay, just want to point out Commissioner Codish represents the county on the board, so it brings information back to us. Okay, any other questions? Not, is there a motion to execute the agreement?
So moved. Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you, Cindy. That motion is approved. We have 2 applications for county aid for liquid funds. We have Oliver Township will be using their funds for paving, and Lewistown Borough will be using their funds for paving between North Walnut and North Pine Alley. waived. Is there a motion to approve the release of the liquid funds allocation to Oliver and Lewistown?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. One personnel item, we have resignation of Michaela Anna from case manager intake specialist at the Public Defender's Office. That will be effective October 9th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve the personnel item?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. There's nothing else to come before the board. This meeting is adjourned.